Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm Gaming Quitte, the most delicious Quitte of them all. Today, Cygames announced their changes to the weapon and Wyrmprint system, and with this video I want to explain it as simple and quickly as possible. I don't think the whole system is very complicated, it's just something we're not used to and it might sound way more complicated on paper than it actually is. I try to understand the whole thing as much as possible, but if I make any mistakes while trying to explain, please tell me in the comments. So let's talk about the weapons first. Weapon storage has been completely removed and you can only have one copy of each weapon. Up until now, you had to craft weapons several times and unbind them using these weapons. For a max unbind, you needed 5 weapons. The problem here was that unbinding was a tedious process sometimes and your space filled up quickly, especially if you wanted to have 2 max unbind weapons of the same type. There's not a lot of reasons to do so, but if for example you want to have Linyu and Valentine's Melody on the same team for different collabs, you needed 2 strong axe weapons. This has completely changed now, so you only need to craft one weapon and then enhance it to have multiple units use it. Weapons now have different stats and functionalities that you can enhance. If you want to use the weapon on more than one unit, for example, you upgrade the copies functionality of the weapon with the required materials. If what's on the screenshot is accurate, this might become an expensive thing to do. Since this is a very special case, most people probably won't even need to do this though. Weapons now have nodes just like adventurers have mana nodes. To increase the strength and HP of a weapon, you now use whetstones to unlock the nodes. You do need to unbind and refine weapons to increase these nodes to their maximum potential. If you want to unbind it, you can do that under the unbind stat of the weapon as shown on the screen. From now on, you can do that to simply use materials needed for it. So I guess gold and silver material on Agito weapons, for example. You will still be able to use steel bricks and ingots to unbind weapons though. When unbinding reaches a certain stage, the weapon skill will be leveled up too. Interesting is also that certain weapons will unlock weapon skins when unbound. To reach the maximum number of unbinds, you need to refine a weapon. This also requires certain materials, but it's not really talked about which kind of materials here. Apparently weapon skills and abilities may change after doing so. It kinda sounds like what we have as enhancing now, but I sadly cannot confirm it's the same. But it kinda does sound like it's the same. There will also be no more augments for weapons from now on, so if you had them, well, poof, they're gone. Since we didn't really have a lot of them, it's not really a big loss anyway. Completely new are functionalities of the weapons, as I have talked about shortly earlier. One example is using one weapon on multiple units. The most interesting additions are the slots and the weapon bonus though. Each weapon has a certain amount of slots that you can unlock with certain materials. This is to equip Wyrmprints. You've heard right, not adventurers equip prints now, but you slap them on weapons, kinda like materia in Final Fantasy VII. The number of slots may vary between weapons, but a maximum of 5 prints can be equipped on weapons. You can equip up to 3 5-star prints and 2 2-star, 3-star or 4-star prints on weapons. This sounds like a lot of abilities could be used, but we will talk about that in a second. Every weapon also lets you unlock a weapon bonus, which is used to boost adventurers in that weapon type. Once unlocked, it's a permanent boost for all of these units. So if you, for example, unlock a sword boost, every unit in the sword type gets a 0.5% increase in strength and HP. One of the most interesting changes is the abilities for weapons. You can now unlock abilities and use them on every unit as long as the element and the weapon type match. So if you want to use a certain ability for a void battle, you can simply unlock it with a weapon and then use it on every unit that matches. So you don't need to bring a void weapon to the battles anymore, you can just use an Agito weapon and destroy Ifrit as long as you have the right ability unlocked. You could also unlock Therian's Bane and do more damage to an Agito's second phase, or use a certain high dragon damage increase ability and go wild. We will see if they adjust the fights to these possibilities, since they said they will rebalance pretty much everything. What I forgot to mention up until now is that weapons are now in certain crafting groups. It starts with the core weapons, then goes on to the void and chimera tech weapons, up until high dragon and Agito weapons. The best thing about this is that you can way more easily find which weapons you are looking for, and it also immediately tells you if you have that weapon already or not, and how far you are with upgrading it. Also, certain endeavors change, but who cares about that? Hey guys, this is editing Quitte. There actually is something interesting here. So it says that weapons obtainable from the Miracle of Dragonule event endeavors in the event compendium will be replaced with weapon skins. So basically you will not be able to use these out weapons anymore, like the Christmas weapons, but they will just be weapon skins. So we will have the ability to get just weapon skins, which is really interesting. So maybe we'll get, like this will be a permanent thing in the future that you can just unlock skins. So that's really cool. Just wanted to mention this. And now back to editing. Haha. What we care about is a little leak that they showed us today. They slipped up. With the news, Cygames actually leaked a new weapon type. They fixed the website to not show it anymore, but on screenshots we saw right after reset, we were able to see a new icon for a gun type weapon. They actually even mentioned it in the update itself. They are called mana casters. I'm super excited, and I actually hope the free unit we might get in the new raid battle for the anniversary will use guns. And yes, I will just call them guns and not mana casters because, well, they're just guns. So now that we've talked about the weapons, let's go into detail when it comes to the Wyrmprints. Every Wyrmprint will now have one ability, not including prints with event perks though, because they still might have two. There will also be changes to some abilities of existing prints, but Cygames doesn't go into much detail here. They give us two examples for how it's going to be now. Valiant Crown, a very beloved print because of the double buff, and Sisters of the Anvil. Valiant Crown will now only have the skill damage plus 20% ability, while Sisters of the Anvil will still have the strength double buff ability. This sounds like a negative at first, but when you consider that you can have up to 5 prints equipped, we can actually customize what we want way more from now on. We even have one more possible ability now, since we usually only were able to use up to 4 abilities, 2 per print, in the past, excluding event perks. The changes on how unbinding works for weapons are also the same changes for Wyrmprints. We only have one print now, which can be upgraded. Since Wyrmprints are actually something we might use on different adventurers on the same team, you can also unlock additional uses or copies with Elt Water. You cannot equip a print on more than one adventurer if you haven't unlocked the additional uses. If you obtain a print you already have, it's automatically converted into Elt Water and rupees, since the storage for prints will also be removed. Completely new are the Affinity bonus on Wyrmprints. There are 11 affinities, and equipping multiple prints of the same affinity will activate a bonus. For example, something called Crown's Boon is a new affinity, and if you equip 4 prints of that type, you get a 10% skill damage buff. These do stack with the prince abilities but are not affected by the limit, so if I understand that correctly, there's a 40% limit on damage buff for the abilities, but the 10% skill damage in that case would be on top, making it 50%. You will be able to check which affinities are available on the Wyrmprint selection screen. Upgrading Wyrmprints basically works the same as I explained with weapons, it's just a little bit less. You can only upgrade HP and strength, unbinds and how many copies you can use. You will, like I already said, use Elt Water to unbind prints, but you can still use keys to do that too. The augments you have used on the prints will be returned to you for now, so you probably need to enhance them again. There's also some changes to the augments. You will only be able to use up to plus 50 augments per print, like 50 strength and 50 HP, but you will have actually more augments on a weapon than you had on an adventurer, because there's 5 prints, so you will have 250 augments on a Wyrmprint, which is pretty cool. Elt Water grinding in Imperial Onslaught is now a thing of the past, since you can now only obtain one of each print that you can buy with the materials from there. I'm talking about the prints needed for the High Dragon Trials, which some people farm to gain more Elt Water. You also can't unbind these with Elt Water, but you still need the materials for it that you can get from Imperial Onslaught. Jeez, that's just a tongue twister. And also there's changes to endeavors, but who cares? So to summarize in a few quick words, if all of that was still too complicated. Only one weapon and print are obtainable. You can unlock weapon skins by upgrading the weapons. You can unbind weapons with materials and increase their strength with materials. Wyrmprints now are equipped to weapons depending on how many slots a weapon has unlocked. You also can unlock global stat boosts by unlocking weapon boosts and use global abilities by unlocking them, like void abilities for example. Every Wyrmprint now only has one ability, and oh my god, just take a shot every time I say ability in this video. It's a drinking game now. Yeah, all of that may kinda sound sus, but you will be actually able to customize your units way more with only having one print on every, one ability on every print, but some prints may become better or worse with this update. And yeah, that's basically it. I really hope this helped you understand the update a little bit better. I tried to keep it as short and concentrated as much as I could. I hope you understood it better. If not, well, then I at least hope you enjoyed the sound of my voice. If you have any questions or if I made any mistakes, please tell me in the comments below. If you want to hang out with me and other Dragalia Lost fans, join the Discord. The link for that is in the description below. We would love to have you. Please remember to like and subscribe to support the channel if you enjoy my stuff, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!